Where would we be without summer corn roasts and cookouts? And you don't want to bite into a worm, but corn borers and corn worms can be challenging to control. We will talk about each species and then some prevention and control for organic gardeners. Technically, we have two species that get into corn, and neither is actually a worm. Both are larvae. The European corn borer was first reported in North America in 1917 in Massachusetts and has since spread across the country. The other major corn pest is the native corn earworm. The European corn borer is a moth about 1 inch long. In most areas, they have two egg laying periods, late May to mid June, and again starting in mid August. Eggs are laid on the undersides of the leaves. Female moths lay an average of 400 eggs each period. Eggs typically hatch in 4 to 8 days, depending on the weather. European corn borer caterpillars damage corn by chewing tunnels through many parts of the plant. They have dark brown heads and light-colored, often tinted pink bodies with a pattern of small, darker spots on each segment. Fully grown larvae are only about 1 inch long. You may see pinholes in leaves or sawdust like frass around the midribs and stalks. Larvae stay inside corn stalks and large-stemmed weeds during the winter. They pupate and become moths when spring temperatures exceed 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Corn borers don't just like corn. Here they are in pepper plants. They will also infest lima beans, potatoes, and snap peas. The corn earworms look similar. Female moths lay up to 1,000 single eggs on fresh corn silk or leaves. The eggs hatch in 4 to 6 days in summer. The larvae quickly enter the ear tip, where it's harder to control them. Corn earworm larvae vary in color, ranging from green to pink to black. They feed on the top 1 to 2 inches of the ear by eating kernels and contaminating the ears with frass. They overwinter as pupa in the warmer Gulf states. The adult moths emerge in the spring and they migrate north. They typically get to the northern Midwest states in late June. The second generation of moths arrives between mid-August and early September, and that group is the one that can be very damaging to your corn crop. Corn earworms also affect peas, beans, squashes, and tomatoes. So let's look at some preventions. European corn borer overwinters so larval populations can be reduced by plowing under crop stubble. This exposes them to cold and birds. Both borers and earworms have several natural enemies. Lady beetles and trichogramma wasps parasitize both eggs and larvae. You can purchase and release them, but it's better to attract them. If you want to draw in more pollinators and insect-eating birds, check out my book on growing backyard wildlife habitat. Hi, I'm Amy, and I make content on organic gardening, wildlife conservation, and nature education. I'm glad you are here. Trichogramma wasps require tiny, shallow flowers for nectar and pollen because of their very small size. To attract them, plant members of the carrot family like dill, fennel, and parsley. Birds that eat insects like flickers and bluebirds should be welcomed into your garden. Both of these birds also use nest boxes readily. The eggs are small, but the borer eggs are in a cluster. Take your thumb and squish them. Spinosad is an organic option that treats stubborn larvae, though you should apply it late in the day to protect local pollinators. Country Gentleman and Trucker's Favorite are two popular and delicious heirloom corn varieties known for their natural resistance to corn earworms and borers. They have tightly wrapped, thick husks that physically kind of prevent the caterpillars from chewing through and entering the ear tip. I have a video on growing corn if you're new to growing it. I hope this video was helpful. Leave a comment if you have a question or just want to share your experiences with cornworms. Thanks for watching till the end. I appreciate you a whole bunch. See you in the next video.